And we're back here with some awesome people from Dwarven Forge.
Woo!
What are we doing?
I don't know. What are we doing here?
I think we're going to build stuff, right?
This is, we're going to do a little sandbox demo.
That sounds so exciting. This is from your Caverns Deep Kickstarter. You have 9 days left.
Not just 9. August 14th it ends.
I just found out you guys got like $1 million in the first day or something. Mm-hmm. That is so incredible. What is that like?
It's just really nice to see, like, we worked so hard and then just on the first day just...
And this is like your 6th Kickstarter?
Yep, 6th one.
Amazing.
Every year we do a Kickstarter and we try and outdo ourselves from the previous year. And, so far we've had great success in all 5, and so far this one's off to a fantastic start.
Yeah.
It was really fun to see the new. Our team has expanded a lot in the last couple of years. So see the new faces launch, and suddenly it like ticks up like $15 per second, and then suddenly just
whoa,
$100,000 in 4 minutes. And like,
yeah, we broke our goal in like, what is it, 8 minutes?
Oh, we should tell you who. I mean, you know who we are, but the internet in case they don't know who we are.
Well,
so I'm Nate. I'm creative director at Dwarven Forge. And I masterminded this crazy Caverns Deep.
Did you?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Greetings, backer. I'm Toby. And I'm senior creative at Dwarven Forge. And I do a bunch of things like casting, modding. I put the LEDs in a lot of things. I do some sculpting as well.
And geometry, you help.
Yeah, geometry.
So
and build. I love building.
I'm still kind of newish to miniatures, and I don't know what a build tray is. So what do we, like, how does that work?
So one of the things that we pioneered last year, and sadly we don't have any extra ones with the magnets here.
Ooh,
so these
it feels cushy.
It is. It's neoprene on metal. It's got a heavy gauge
strong mouse pad.
Metal in there.
Holds everything.
And it's we have our new pieces have magnets in the bottom, so they stick to this train tray. And of course we didn't bring any of them here for this demo, because that would have made too much sense. So you can pre-build on these and then fly them in as your players discover them, or you can use. We've got hazards on the back, like acid, lava, ice, and you can build around these and leave it exposed. It's called a negative space build, and so you can have some hazards for your players. So we're going to use these to kind of fly stuff in and out and play with.
Amazing.
Yeah. So should we show you how some of this stuff works?
Absolutely. I'm so excited.
Yeah. You get to be one of the first people in the world to handle this stuff outside of the office. So at the basics, this is a bunch of basic. I call them bread and butter pieces, which now is kind of caught on. These are sort of fundamental building pieces for just making any sort of shape. Because one of the challenges is we want to make pieces that they're very expensive because everything's hand sculpted and hand painted. So it's expensive to buy. So we want to make sure if you're going to buy this and invest in this stuff, you can have a ton of different uses for it, right? So you can make kind of anything you can dream of out of this. So our basic pieces are floors. So here's a couple. Oh, it's kind of dinged up.
Should we put them on this? Okay, cool.
You stand back. So those are some
really nice, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Like soft and cushy. So these are our floors. It's 12 millimeters high, 50 millimeters wide. There's a grid built in. It's sort of disguised because these are supposed to be organic. But you can see there's a 1x1 grid for your tactical movement in there. So you can just sort of throw those.
I also like that you address the sides too, because they feel naked when you stop building, right?
You've got to be 360.
Exactly. Amazing. So, all right, let's put some stuff together here.
All right, so it's a bunch of plain floors. So then, floors are kind of boring alone, so we have walls, right? So this is like a standard wall piece. It's a 50 millimeters high, 50 millimeters square, and the same thing. It has the grid, boom, boom, boom. And there's 1 square, 2 square. Everything's camouflaged. So here's a couple of walls, and you can pop the walls up against the floors and start sort of outlining
Starting to come together.
Room. Yeah. Then of course, if you just had walls, everything would just be straight and boring. So we've got corners. So this is one of our cascading pool corners. Same thing. It's basically a square footprint, 2 inches. It has a little grid in there, and this is one of our prettier pieces. I love this corner. Beautiful cascading pools in there. So then you throw this on there, and you can start going around the corner.
All right. I see how this is coming together.
And this is another corner, which is also a diagonal wall. So this thing runs on a diagonal. You can put it around there, expand the size of your room, or just use it as a plain corner.
Wow, diagonals. That's useful.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to. You don't want to repeat the same pattern over and over again, generally.
Right.
So these can like help you swell out, swell
Oh,
back.
nice. So we don't have to build a giant square.
You could do a little diagonal thing there. So we have, oh, you know, for fun while we're here, we can take a little, where's the accessory? Can you grab a corner fill? So right here, this is kind of there's an open little 90-degree space in there that might be annoying if you want your cabin to feel super organic.
Right.
Look at that little.
Oh, and then you can just put that in there. Yeah. Amazing.
So here's another corner. There's some more straight walls. You can start building out a thing. All right. So this is like this is very basic. This is building 101. So then, if you want to get a little fancy, man, look, close that off.
Yeah.
Boom, you got a room. Look, it's a cave.
But it also looks like a giant footprint.
Ooh.
Created by whom?
The biggest dragon known to man.
This is so awesome because, you know, sometimes you're like stuck as a DM because you feel like you're on the spot, and it already kind of lends itself to the embedded narrative.
It's creative tools.
Yeah.
So you suddenly have a toolbox of things that can, you know, and it can help you with the description of the room or what's going on. The players, this can be difficult terrain.
Yeah.
You know, you can see the grids in there. It makes your if you're using miniatures and doing this for tactical battles, it's like the battles are suddenly now alive because there's all this stuff you can interact with.
Yeah.
So here is, this gets lively. This is a convex curve. So far we've been curving in. This one curves out. This is one of my favorite. There's like big, beautiful, gentle curves.
Maybe
Totally work with.
If you put it here like this, maybe now there's two paths going outwards.
Oh, cool.
Or you could put two of them over here, and you could.
Yeah.
This is the way you could get into your cavern, or maybe you make a little nook over there.
Nice.
Things, right? I guess those are all our basic. Oh, then we have this swell piece. So this is swell, right? This is a.
And how would you use that?
So this thing transitions us from 2 inches on this side to 1 inch on this side. So this is, if you're tired of like a really long straight run, you could put this thing in, and it knocks everything off by 1 inch. So now you can push this in by 1 inch, push this up by 1 inch. So it knocks this thing off by 1 inch, which then you're going to need a little 1 inch wall. How cute is that guy? So then you pop this guy up over here, and floor. Now we're back on. The rest of these are back on the 2 inch grid.
I even have the little 1x1.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So now we've made our wall less straight because we're trying to make organic shapes with these modular pieces. So you want to kind of break up the straights. So those are all our basic building block pieces, right? And that's the start. So why don't you? So Toby here is one of our master builders. You want to give him a challenge?
Builder.
Yeah,
no
joke.
Give me a challenge.
Oh, okay.
So what do you want him to build? Just using basic pieces.
Just
what do you
using
want to
basic
build? What's
pieces.
a fun?
Well, all right. I feel like I've been in this scenario before. Maybe some people in the chat room, people here at the table have also been in this scenario where you have this sense that you're trapped.
Yes.
But if you do a little bit of exploration, it actually opens up to many pathways. So
Right.
how
Do
can
that?
I kind of get my
That's
players
a great
in
challenge.
that situation?
Yeah. All right, Toby, work some wizardry.
Should I take that one?
Yeah, take that one.
All right, Master Builder at work.
Yeah.
I feel like this could
We need
be
a countdown timer.
like a spin-off show, right? We
yeah,
have to
the
have
building
like
challenge.
I've been pushing for a build challenge thing.
a dramatic like hourglass in the sand.
Yeah.
and-
Ooh, yes. It'd have to be hourglass because that's thematic.
Yeah, it would fit with the theme.
So we have. So as you mentioned, we've had 5 Kickstarters previous to
Yes.
this, and our second Kickstarter we did Caverns, which was a pretty basic pass at Caverns. So
Wait, this is Caverns Deep.
Yeah, this is no joke.
What was that? Caverns Shallow?
That was just called Caverns. Now we've gone deeper, darker, more dangerous. We have the Underdoom, we have ice, we have crystals, we have bridges, we have all this crazy stuff in here,
stuff.
right?
So I was admiring the ice on your Kickstarter.
I should have brought some with us. It is glorious.
Yeah.
You met Erin the other day.
Yes, I did.
She really worked hard to figure out this ice pattern that would look
And then
just
there was
glorious.
I love the kind of translucent, iridescent, like crystal. There was like some diffusion though. It wasn't just like, oh, shiny thing. Yeah, it was like a lot of richness to it.
That's what, right? We want a rich, immersive, organic environment. So these are some of our pieces from our previous cabinet. These are, I don't know what these are, like partially painted old prototypes. I don't know what we had. We grabbed a bag of stuff from Stefan's luggage, so we have a really weird motley assortment of pieces. But so we have a lot of backers who have this is our stuff from our previous Kickstarter.
Neat.
So we have a lot of backers that have this stuff. So you may recognize these are the same sort of things we were just playing with, right? We've got floors. We've got walls. This is slightly different shapes, whatever. We've got corners. So what's important to us is all this new stuff is compatible with the old stuff, right? So you can mix and match. You can build. This is a new piece. This is an old piece. The paint's a little wacky because these were not. I don't know what this paint job was. There's some, but our factory finish paint job will be nicely matching.
And then
Toby
you
take all the
can
walls.
incorporate maybe
Sorry.
these like
You have a
fun
swirl over
diagonal
there?
stuff.
Yeah, well, our previous, we didn't have any of these new shapes, right?
Yeah,
So we
there's-
have all these cool new shapes that we can integrate with the old stuff. And we designed our Kickstarter so that if you have a bunch of the old stuff, you don't have to buy a lot of new repetitive pieces.
Right.
So you can, if you already have a bunch of these walls and floors and stuff,
Right,
some
you
of
don't
our,
need more of the plain stuff.
yeah.
I
So,
wanted some
but you
of
want some of these
fun
cool
things.
new shapes, but you don't need to have a
Yeah.
ton of the old stuff. So this stuff is all compatible with our old stuff. So once you buy into the world,
Sure.
you can just keep adding to it.
Right.
Right? If you spend a couple $100 on the last one, you can keep adding.
And what I love is, especially when you're playing those like line of sight type tabletop
Yes.
games, like if you hid something in this little nook here and I was rounding this corner, I wouldn't be able to see that. And
In
that,
fact, Toby, can you tell us some of those stalagmites, like the towering or the... Yeah, so we have a bunch
There you
of freestanding bits here, so check this thing out. This is a glorious thing put together by Nina. Get it close on this bad boy.
yeah, it's
This is called the
beautiful.
towering stalagmite. So this is exactly case in point used to block movement,
Oh,
break line of
yes.
sight, whatever. And what's nice is you can literally just look and see if you have line of sight.
Right.
You can
exactly.
also trace the line, do whatever, but you can just look, and if you can't see that mini too, then you don't have line of sight.
Yeah.
So these are nice
And everybody at the
physical
table is
tools.
like,
Yeah, no, you definitely can't see the thing. There's a giant stalagmite in the way. So we have a bunch of
Oh,
scatter
cool.
pieces that you can
And
put in.
I would have a sense of dread trying to like maybe shuffle through
Thread
that.
through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's throw some of these in maybe in your build, Toby. You got some compatibility and like.
He's
Yeah, put some
moving
in.
real fast. I
Yeah.
don't know if we can. If you
Toby's
guys
no
can see
stranger
that.
to these pieces,
Yes.
right? So, what else we have here? So now we've got street elevation. Let's do these pieces. Yeah. So then we also have some more fun specialty pieces, right? So
Okay.
we've seen a lot of the straight plain pieces. Then we have, look at this thing. This is called it's a corner entrance piece. Can you toss me the wall inserts over there, please, Toby?
Okay. I'm using one or two of them here.
All right, so this thing introduces a diagonal,
Yeah.
right? So far everything has been in these orthogonal angles, right? So this thing, you build it like normal. You do like okay, right? So you're just building your room like normal, but it kicks off this thing now at a cool diagonal.
Yeah.
So what you can do with that?
And it also invites the player to stop thinking in this grid
Yes.
type movement,
Right,
right?
we're trying to immerse everybody in this crazy organic
Yeah.
cave, and this suddenly breaks everything into less of a grid. Now it's off at 45 degrees. So what you can do is a couple of things. One, you can actually just start building like regular if you want off this thing. You could just build diagonal.
cool.
You can we have these passage pieces. Look at that.
Oh, nice. That's so awesome. I mean, but these are the kinds of narratives that we are telling when we play D&D and Pathfinder and that
Yeah.
kind of fantasy tabletop world.
This is it should
Yes,
feel like
it
this.
should feel like this.
And what we were talking about in our artist interview yesterday with you, or 2 days ago, it's all blurry.
Yeah, I think it
Wouldn't
was
it?
2 days ago.
So one of our guiding principles was a sense of sort of claustrophobia and
Right.
overhang. So you can see the walls of this thing. We have an overhang here to help create this sort of sense
Yeah.
of claustrophobia and this. We want to evoke. If we can evoke emotion with the terrain,
Yes.
we're really winning.
Yes.
Right? Because you're bringing real emotion into your table. So these things line up really nice with the diagonal, right? So you can then have a passage that goes out and then opens up into another room over here. We can start building.
And then
a,
also, I'm actually really admiring the outside of it too. So you could come back around, and it's like
there's mushrooms and little.
I used to be here, but I was on the other side of this wall, which actually kind of adds to like, well, if I bored through this wall, what would happen? It would bring me back to where I was before.
And it's really important that all sides of it look beautiful and
Yes.
intriguing, right? We don't phone in every millimeter is hand sculpted with love and care and passion. So like no matter what side you're seeing the thing from, it's going to be interesting and dangerous and claustrophobic and dark and wet and all those cool adjectives.
And
so
then also, Toby was telling me you guys have made some stop motion videos.
we shot. So we have 15 encounters
Okay.
for Caverns Deep, And we've shot, each is sort of a distinct one with a different theme. Like we have one that has a big bridge, one we have boats, one is ice, one is crystal. So we shot a little narrative. Originally I wrote like a 90-page feature-length narrative, which was kind of, it was a little ambitious for, we're sometimes over-ambitious.
And you just want to pop out this Kickstarter.
Wow, we're doing this Kickstarter, and we're at Gen Con, and whatever. So we toned it down a little bit and just did a little short narrative in each room.
Ready whenever you're ready.
We'll tell that thing that will show off your cool bit. So we have a little story sort of for each room. It's really short, like 2 to 4 minute long bits where we did each room with, we have some adventurers going through, and they basically, it's showing off how they can die in each room. And it's sort of like Mr. Bill, but each time the adventurers, spoiler alert, the adventurers die every time. So there's, we're going to release the first one, I think, on Tuesday. And we have some really fun, we have some guest voiceover. Maybe
some people you've played with before?
Maybe some people that were at the table on Friday. And yeah, so it's pretty fun and silly, and it's really fun to kind of be down at miniature point of view. So Toby, why don't you show us, well, we'll show this one last piece. So we have this 45 degree here. This piece, this is a really neat one. This is called the Widening Passage. So this has a 45 degree turn baked in, and it goes from passage width to regular width. So you can take this thing and you can pop it against there, and now you have this cool turn, and then we're back on that same square grid again. And we have, everything has a grid, even if it has this weird 45s. There's, you can see there's a grid baked in on the floor.
So you could make like an environment here and then another one on this.
Yeah, you connect them all and slide the trays and whatnot. So Toby, why don't you show us what did you build here and talk us through it?
So here's the build. Flying it right in.
Slide this out.
Let's make some room so we can get a good shot of that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these.
Oh, he's cheating using the new pieces.
Yeah. Okay, so as you were saying, the adventurers are trapped.
Right.
They're trapped in a little room, but looks like there's no way to get out. But over here, this opens up.
That is so neat.
So this is our secret door piece.
Yes, that's amazing. So appropriate.
It's a hinged stone.
So once they figure that out, they're free to go into this room, and then you can go right. There's a door that leads to this.
Oh, there's another door.
This is a wooden.
Oh, cool.
Door, a little hinged wooden door.
So that's the obvious way, because there's a door.
Yeah. Or maybe that's more dangerous because it means something intelligent built it. So maybe it's maybe our master builder Toby over here. Maybe it's a lizard man. Maybe it's a hag. Maybe it's some friendlies of Verfneblin. I don't know.
Maybe it's treasure room.
Or death. So what other ways do we have to go in here, Toby? What else do you have?
If you go that way, there's a door there. But if you raise up here, you can either go this way, or there's a low arch insert that if they crawl down, they can go this way.
Or they can come out this way in the passage and go off to wherever that leads.
Oh man, there's so many possibilities.
I just use these ledges as implied.
Right.
This piece that we were looking at before, this diagonal piece. So this part here, which is kind of strangely flat, is designed to be able to it can take an insert of, like this door fits perfectly in there.
Perfect.
We have these little insert walls here, so this thing can drop in, and if you just want to make it solid, or maybe it's a secret door, right? Maybe this thing slides open or it drops
secret
down.
Password.
Whatnot. You could put that actual secret door piece. You could put in there.
Amazing.
Or you can use those as alternate walls.
Right. You can just pop these actual freestanding pieces. Then you can just pop on the floor, and this becomes another straight wall to put in line with the rest of your straight walls.
Nice.
Then you can make cool things like a Dwarvenite wall.
Do you want to, Toby? Do you want to show off these diagonals? How these? You want to do something with 45 degrees?
Yes,
cheating and giving out the build challenge.
And I like that if you use these tiles, you can start here, and then your dungeon master could then you want to go through the door and then lay down where that goes.
Yeah, you
and
fly
just kind of
things as you discover it. You can fly in the bits.
Yeah.
This is look at this. It's one of my most beautiful pieces.
Oops.
When we cast our pieces at the factory, we use our own proprietary PVC blend that we call Dwarvenite, because it's made by dwarves, hardest substance known to man. This is in game. This is Dwarvenite. We're calling this is where it comes from. This is the dwarves mine the Dwarvenite. This is a Dwarvenite vein.
Okay, at Dwarven Forge.
Yeah, we're getting super meta, right? And we have miniatures of ourselves that can be in there and combine the.
Did I hear that you were selling it by the pound?
Well, we're selling. So Dwarvenites, our pieces are made of Dwarvenites. Yeah. We're selling all these tiles by the pound. If you want to come and just get some loose pieces and whatever, we have a bunch of stuff. So what's fun about this is. You may notice there's a bunch of polyhedral shapes in there, right? So our team, we have a very big creative team, and we spent a long time figuring out what is Dwarvenite going to look like, what does it feel like. Did a bunch of concept sketches. Eli, who's like an amateur geologist, did some sketches, and finally Michelle sculpted this up.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He was a poet and a sculptor.
We have our team are a bunch of very
chicken
well-rounded.
Yeah.
He speaks chicken. He's got a bunch of chickens. He lives
and he's like married to a botanist.
Yeah. We have a very well-rounded sort of Renaissance team of artists that are just staggering things. So Michelle sculpted this, but took the shapes of polyhedral dice are buried in there. So it's so Dwarvenite then is referencing the games that we played. You get this beautiful. D4s, D8s, there's a hint of icosahedron in there. There's like all the bits. And then Aaron gave it this beautiful sort of purple, iridescent, dark, magical.
And then when you like kind of look at it from different angles, it actually has different qualities.
Yeah. And then we were really excited at the Oscars this year. The whole stage was draped in something that looked just like this. We're like, wow, the Oscars are covered in Dwarvenite? Like, clearly we're making Oscar award-winning terrain.
Yeah.
Academy Award.
I think they say great minds think alike.
I think that's, I think I've heard that. You didn't make that up, did you?
No, I did not.
So then we have, let's look at some of the other cool specialty pieces we have. So check this thing out. This is,
I was actually going to ask about some verticality.
Right? Well, we have a Z-axis, right? So we're not on graph paper, we're going up. So one of the things we tried to do is a lot of our pieces, are not plain and flat, right? We're doing this, you can't do this on graph paper, right? No. This has some bits, and then some of them really push the envelope like this.
I was gonna say, what if you stepped on that?
Damage, 1d4. Right there, Well, that's the thing. Your DM could say, "Oh, this is difficult terrain. Make an acrobatics trap," or you might trip on that stalagmite or whatnot. So this is a passage piece that's used to transition up if you want to do a level of elevation or whatnot.
Up to that.
Toby's already doing over there. And you'll notice on the side here, we've got another vein of unmined Dwarvenite. Is hidden in there, so to continue the visual theme pops up. Although we even have a little spider hidden on the side there. It's a little thoughtful.
We have a lot of
creatures.
Actually, there's a lot of creepy crawlies in here.
So we have these. Of course, we didn't bring them. We have these stilts. We have these magnetic stilts that actually stick to the bottoms of these trays.
So you
can use these. So we'll fake it with these elevation blocks, but you can raise up a whole section and then start building up here, right? So you can drop a whole bunch of other bits up here, and then start building on a whole other level.
Those look sky's the limit,
and then drop.
Right?
Yeah, well, you want to be able to do this fun stuff where you're going up, you're going down. You can actually see what line of sight is like, make some really dynamic battles and memorable moments.
Or you have advantage because you can look
down. You've got high ground, or they don't, or exactly. And we're trying to make these cinematic moments that people will kind of will remember. Your players will have these moments at the table that live in their mind forever. Yeah. So these are some of our other elevation pieces. Feel that thing.
These are amazing. And I was going to say, I love how these are sculpted in a suggestive way. And when I say suggestive, I mean it's very like evocative, because it could be a stalagmite, or it could be like a footprint of a creature, or like it's some kind of growth from a monster, or like this looks like a claw too, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like
one of our guiding principles was danger. Right? Everything should feel dangerous. So there's sharp
like
edges.
A shape language that.
There's definitely a visual vocabulary that sort of speaks of danger, and injury is lurking at every turn. And even at the edge of this is like it's crumbled. It looks like it could fall off.
And it feels like rock.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm not going to name other companies, but it just feels like rubber, plastic play stuff. And this is. If I threw this at your head, it would hurt.
Well, funny that. Yeah. So we shoot. We do our intro video for our Kickstarter every year. Which, if you guys haven't watched it, it's worth going to our Kickstarter at Caverns Deep and watch our intro video, because it's ridiculous. We're not the most serious people in the world, and our video is kind of hilarious. I may be a little biased, but one of the scenes in it, so we have all this sort of everybody doing this silly stuff like splits and craziness and whatever. And one of the scenes I was going to juggle the pieces
and
then drop some to show that they're indestructible.
Yeah.
And so we got a take, and it was great. And I was like, I think it'd be funnier what if I just like throw them off stage? So I was like, Lucas, who's one of our film guys, I'm like, Lucas, just catch them. I'm going to just toss a couple of these pieces at you. Just catch them while I'm going to juggle them. So I'm looking at the camera juggling, and I just start tossing like this. And the first one, he drops the first one, goes down to get it, looks up just in time to get the second piece, hits him like right in the bridge of his nose, cracked seeing stars, like one of the days.
No noses were broken, don't worry.
Didn't break his nose. It had definitely.
At least you didn't throw this.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was the passage piece. He looked like a boxer the next day.
Well, thorough play testing, and you guys have found out what happens when you throw.
And don't throw them. And we didn't even use the take. It was the first one was better anyway. But took it for no reason. So anyway, so we have these cool these elevation pieces. We have a whole series of cave cliff pieces. Once again, of course, I don't have all of them here. But they line up to give you sort of an edge, and you can build if you want. You can build these. You can build these around the edge of a thing, and then or you can keep building up, or you can build your next. You can start building your caverns right up on them and around. You can use it just cosmetically. We have a.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Toby's going to show us some 45.
What?
And elevation.
Whoa!
Yay.
Yeah.
It's like challenge accepted.
Yeah, I would like that. Can I get the elevation box?
All right, watch this. So we're gonna.
Can't reach. What's a good angle for this?
How much time are we?
This is a little bit more
I have
towards
a
it.
sense of anticipation, like it's.
Oh wait,
where's the ramp go? Oh, here's the ramp.
Christmas or something. I'm like, oh, what's gonna come out next?
When you're a player, right? Let's say, hold on a second, Toby. Hold the paper. So let's say, your
we
players
decided
are
to
in here.
climb up. Yeah.
They've come in here. Tell us what they see, Toby.
Okay, so they come in here, and then the passage starts to have a lot of concave crevices. There could be treasure in there. There could be danger in there. And as they go, exploring, and the passage starts to wind in diagonal ways. Like this piece over here, it starts off at a perpendicular angle, and then breaks off into 45. And so this room over here is kind of at a 45 because this fixes it right back to the same axis as before.
Right.
Yeah, like the center is off at 45, and then we go back onto the square grid. But let's say your party's coming here. You just put this out on your table. They don't know what's coming next. By the time they get over here, and you hear a thing up the passage, whatever, boom, and then
you reveal this.
The stalwart fighter runs up the stairs like an idiot, and then you can drop this thing in, and this is what they find at the top. And then if they go to the next thing, you can drop in the next.
And at the top, they see a tribe of lizardmen waiting for them to accept the challenge.
Yeah, licking their lips and sharpening their spears or something.
They should have stopped and listened, but no.
They
So this has a bunch of crazy crazy innovation in here. Do you see what's going on?
Loving this stuff and like that. Oh my gosh.
So that's
this piece over here.
Yeah. So what do you guys call that?
This is a natural bridge base B, the curved natural bridge base. So it's
and then you could also like put these together.
Or
oh no.
Well, that's not enough.
Oh,
you gotta go big.
What?
Right?
That's so cool.
And then if you're using these terrain trays, you could use this side for lava, right, and have that.
Or the perilous kind of.
So let's show you. It's so big we can't even fit on the tray, right? And then you take these pieces and you start building around, and we'll cover. This is called a negative space build. Let's do a negative. Actually, Toby, do you want to make?
Yep, negative space
build. So we'll show you how negative space works.
Give me banks and wedges, please.
This is here's neg space.
I don't know if the camera can quite see this, but there are actually like hollow channels through here too that Toby had built.
So much danger afoot over there. You don't even know what's.
Be careful, look down. Maybe there's a lizardman trying to get you at your feet.
Or from the top trying to stab down.
So actually, let's look at this part. So this is a two-part piece. Of course, we don't have the topper for it. This is called the Stairway to Violence, because The next piece
sounds
is
like a
kind
great song, right?
Yeah, right? Well, for the Sirens of the Realms. So they stack up and it goes about this high, and it's sort of a continuing thing, natural stair that goes up to, clearly when you get up there, there's going to be violence. But this is an example of thoughtful touches. Can you find we got a bat skeleton in there, we got a Dwarvenite vein.
Okay, we have a Dwarvenite vein right here. Very interesting. And so here, right there embedded in the rock is your bat skeleton. Yeah, that is amazing.
And then the top bit has stalactites that line up with the stalagmite, so if you line it up, you can feel like actually how it formed. And then this is you can start building up from here if you want to go up further, or you can throw this up against any of these pieces sit. And you can build
the low arch wall. It's front right.
Some more.
Thank you kindly.
So you can build up against it too with our cliff pieces. If you want to use this to like transition up to another build or go out with
I love how flexible these pieces are. I know you guys are like, we don't even have all the pieces here, but I'm like, you guys are already making amazing stuff. I would love to play in this adventure.
We spend an enormous amount of time figuring out the geometry before we start sculpting in clay. We really make sure that there's going to be a lot of geometric synergy between the pieces, so that we've got a very standardized heights for things, so that they line up sort of no matter what you're doing, they're going to line up nicely and look cool in a variety of ways, because you want people to build the coolest stuff ever on their table. Here's another one for you.
Thanks. Do you have a 1x2? Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's look. We should also look at our forest here before we run out of time, because we have a whole other environment. So there's a lot more. I don't know. We got lots of other fun cavern stuff. We have there's all this dressing. This is kind of the plain stuff, but we've got mushrooms and boats and crazy miniatures and a bridge and docks and crystals and
secret doors.
All this other stuff. So we're mostly showing the basic pieces, but we have this whole other environment. So the adventure of Caverns Deep is 14 encounters, and each one is a deeper, crazier, more deadly cavern. You get to the 14th one, you find the exits out. You see daylight and you think you're finally free. Then there's one final encounter in Dread Hollow Forest. So let's look at the forest and see what that holds for us.
Regular floor.
How would
Thanks. Where's the bridge? The other side of it.
The bridge.
Oh yeah.
All right. So this forest is brand new, uncharted territory for us. Pun intended.
And I think I was taking a look at this the other day.
Yeah, we had this out the other day, but
and I just want to point out for anybody new that you guys like sculpt every leaf. I can't get over it. Like, and it's not just like a leaf; it's like the veins on the leaf.
Yeah.
And like.
Because a leaf has got to look like a leaf.
Right, and then like each little like piece of a fern or it's amazing.
You could say it's beyond belief.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, maybe you wouldn't say that, but you could.
I like puns.
I live for them. I'm a dad, so we gotta see if I can get this. So this is one of our earlier prototypes. So our peg is a little questionable on this, but we'll just a second. So the forest, the base pieces of the forest are these 6-inch by 6-inch tiles, and let me just pull this off so it doesn't fall. There's so much to talk about all the detail and all the whatever, but the most important thing to note at the bottom is that there is a grid in here, right? So even though it's an organic surface, there's a 1-inch by 1-inch grid that's delineated by either rocks or roots or vegetation, like this fern creates it. So there is a 6 by 6-inch grid completely camouflaged in here on this floor, which is integral to the gaming, right? So you can use it for all your tactical wargaming, but it still looks beautiful on the table. So all of them are 6 by 6 tiles. It's like the base size, and we have these tree stumps here that have a little peg hole in them. Okay. And the idea is, if you wanted to, you could just buy and play these pieces as is without having to buy anything above, because they're pricey. But if you want to go for the full experience, we're going to have this series of modular trees that we can put in there. They're going to sit, they've got pegs in them, so they'll sit on the stumps. And of course, the trees are modular, right? So the different pieces are going to come apart. So this will be a one-part piece, so it'll have baked-in
if I
branches
wanna make
there,
a shorter tree
leaves
or-
over there. So you could pull this segment out. Let's see if I can get this thing apart. This is we're literally finishing these prototypes the night of the opening night of Gen Con. So you can take this one out if you want. Just use this one. Put the topper on this one. Timber. We have the pegs are barely in here on these things, and that's it. Well, use the little one for example. But the idea is you can mix and match the pieces and the heights. So if you just wanted like some weird low-hanging shrub, you could do it. If you wanted to top it with a crazy little these over here, you could do it. These will all be attached.
Or maybe you missed your magic attack and you felled a tree in half.
Well, that's the
something.
thing. Let's say you're going in there and you want to play with the minis. You can just pop the trees out and then just play on here, and these delineate where the actual trees are for line of sight and the like. We'll have a little platform too for putting your miniatures in the trees. The idea is you can sort of customize without having a ton of parts. You can customize the height and the width and the shape and the look of your trees. Then we can have some different paint jobs. We can have some skeletal bits and the like.
This one's ready, by the way, whenever.
Oh, let's take a look. What do you have there, Toby?
So, I did a negative space build with the bridge.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Whoa, let's fly this.
Sorry to interrupt the wilderness.
No, wilderness will come back. It's always going to be there.
Well, we have to get through this first, the perilous bridge over the lava.
To get to
the wilderness.
All right, so what do we have here?
Here we go. The final stuff will be weighted on the ends, so it wouldn't collapse like that.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
This is so cool.
Thanks.
So what do we got here, Toby?
So, here's a room filled with lava. We're just
A standard issue room full of
yeah,
lava, you know.
I
We've all
might
been
have
there.
heard of it.
so yeah. There's 3 exits to this room. Two of them are connected by the bridge.
Yeah.
And this time around, I'm using the bridge in a diagonal way because as long as you have the 2 bridge points there, and this thing is 6 inches.
Right.
So as long as it's 6 inches, you can create like these diagonal cool bridges.
That's
So like they
really
can climb
cool.
that, and it gets an arrow there. So if there's enemies there, you're gonna have to
Especially
be
right
very,
here.
very careful.
Yeah, you can't bypass that enemy.
Speaking of little details, there's another skeleton. Like,
Underneath.
yeah.
Wow.
it's hard to like capture it, but
So, and we call this a negative
Yeah.
space build because you're using the
Right,
space
the
that doesn't
negative
have
space.
it doesn't have the tiles there to create some sort of hazard or thing or the like.
and the third exit is over here, but the bridge doesn't connect there. So I made a
you'd
little
have to-
island here,
Oh.
and then using this piece is from the Aranthor Mountain set. It's like a dead tree, so like
Yeah,
the lava
I
burned
love
it, I guess.
this, yeah.
So they can like grapple all over there and then try to hop to that exit.
And I like how it also suggests a history of the location too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this place didn't have lava.
Maybe it was a happy little stream
Right,
there,
and then volcano
And
erupted.
it start pouring
or
through
Red
here.
Dragon did
Yeah.
something. Or,
Wow, that is so
And the
neat.
stalagmites and stuff like that, as we were showing before, works great as like scatter onto your hazards.
right, you can just put stalagmite right in there and boom.
Yeah.
Maybe
Or
that's the spot you can jump
or
to
like,
or something. Or,
du-du-du-du-du-du.
yeah, that's Super Mario for sure. Didn't you build a Super Mario level with
No, I built with the castles. I built a level from Super Smash Bros. The Link's castle.
That's
That's
so
amazing.
cool.
So so let's go back to this woods here. This is also super brand new. So this is, I was trying to show the tree. So this is like an example. You could have a tree that's like this. You could pop it off. You could just take the topper if you want,
Right.
put that back on, make it a low tree, whatever. So we'll have a whole system so you can kind of make the trees that you dream of and that are useful on your table. We also have one of my favorite pieces. So this is a transition piece that gets us from the caverns to the up to the surface. So that's connects on the back here.
Okay, you
So
just
we can-
survived the lava.
Yeah, you finally go through the lava. You get out to the woods here.
See the light.
So,
and
and then this topper goes on there to seal it up. So if you don't want to use it, you could also put. It takes
then,
here.
one
Do you
thing
have
about the topper?
do you have an insert?
It works great as like an island on like a water or like
Oh, cool. cool.
This
We can
takes
have a tree
our
on there.
insert wall, so you could, if you want, you could just seal it up with stone. You could put a secret door there. You could put a regular door there. You could, maybe there's some Dwarvenite in the
Ooh, nice.
in there, hidden under the in the cave. It works. So what's neat beyond how beautiful and majestic and whatnot this is, you know, you can build trees from there. Whatever, we'll have a cool specific tree for this one. This topper right here, this which comes off as removable and has a stump for a tree, this becomes really good scatter terrain. So we're going to have some sets where you don't have to commit to all these big, expensive tiles. You can just get some of the scatter if you want. So this, if you had a grass battle mat or something. You said you started playing Warhammer.
Yeah, Warhammer, exactly.
Right?
So you could trees.
Yeah, so you could throw this down and then throw some of our tree pieces on it, right? And
we also want to have scatter like stumps, right?
Yeah. So this is an example of one of our scatter stumps. So you could get on there. These prototypes are killing me. Right. So you could put this out on your battle mat and play around it. And it's got playable squares and like. So we're gonna have 3 different things like this. This is like one of the larger ones. We'll have another one with a small stump that's a little smaller footprint, and we'll have one with a large stump that also has kind of a small footprint. So there will be 3 different scatter bits, and you can also, of course, put these on your. If you've got some flat pieces, you can put this out if you want. You can put it in as scatter in among your other forest pieces to kind of break up the look and the like. We also have, and useful for Warhammer folks and the like, we have this, so this thing is kind of a raised area here. We have a whole series of escarpments. So you can use these up against the bits like this.
Cool.
We have an inside turn, we have an outside turn. You can boom, 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 thing. These, of course, also take the trees if you want to keep going up with trees and the like.
This is straight out of a movie. Like, I feel like I have
We try and make it look real and fantastic, and a really
you're exploring the
place
woods, and then somebody's standing right here.
Yeah, and this is also designed to work really nicely with our Aranthor mountain set. So this is from our previous set. Yeah. These mountains, right? So they're designed using a similar stone types and geometry. So if you want, you can use these to build out your mountains, and of course. They're flat-backed and cave-like, so if you want, you can build your caves right up against the back of them, and this sort of shows you're getting near there's roots in there, so you're getting near the back of the roots. And then these things, you can also do neat stuff, like you can take 4 of these corners if you want, and you could build something there. You could put our little scatter bit if you want. You could do this thing up there. You could make just a mound in the middle of your forest.
And I just thought of this.
already like 2 paths kind of.
Yeah,
forming.
where you can go. There's some cover. You maybe want to come up here and hide behind it, get some high ground. What did you think, Tim?
I just thought of this now, but if you use the back of the escarpments and put the cave in between, like 2 of them.
We could put 2 of these to connect like a river.
Yeah, but not only that, like if you put floors in between, you can use this as a bridge.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine the roots coming out.
You can also put these. We'll sit back to back, and you can put a thing on the front. We have our big final piece of the forest. You saw this the other day. This is the.
You had a little LED in there too.
Yeah, where's it? Well, we haven't built it yet. Toby's got to get on it when we get back from Gen Con. We're gonna have some sort of
back to
LED.
work.
It's been so hard being away from the workshop. It's been really hard to keep up with getting all this stuff out in time to show everybody in the Kickstarter. But we'll have some sort of LED thing in here, and this is going to be the big final battle set piece where the evil hag Grimorna is doing her final ritual.
And there's like all these little pieces.
There's playable squares on there where you can go in and do all sorts of crazy heroic shenanigans.
And there's all that like little stuff.
You see snakes and critters.
Oh, like centipede. I
think. Right. And then you could also use this, of course, because it's hollow. You could drop in, and you could use this to drop down into the caverns or come out as you finally escape out here and whatnot. This is going to be we're super excited about this piece. And of course it works. It is these escarpments here let you, do we have any, this, Toby. So you could build this out against the escarpments and have something like this. Where's the island top right? For the whole little wilderness scape here. If you wanted, you could do something like that. So you go up a level and just keep playing. You Warhammer people are going to
No,
be like,
yeah, I'm like,
right?
I have so many ideas. This is, yeah, and then like, because we have these like long range like missiles and stuff like that. They've been coming
well, this
out.
could have been hit by a missile, clearly, right? It was, are you a 40K?
Yeah, Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
I play, I call them my space clowns. They're Harlequins. Have you heard about them?
No.
So the Eldar are like space elves.
Yep.
And they have this like little army, like another, I guess, faction. They're called the Harlequins, and
they're space clowns.
yeah, they're space clowns. Yeah, they
And
have
you
like
chose-
rainbow mohawks.
You could have been
and-
anything you wanted. You chose space clowns.
Well, I work at like a circus, so.
Did the Skaven? Did they make it into space?
I don't
I was
know.
a big Skaven fan from the fantasy original
Yeah.
Warhammer. Like the rat folk were my people. So not that there's any better than space clowns. Like dirty rat folk is its whole own. So you can make ravines here if you want.
Oh yes.
I was going to build one over here.
Yeah, that's the sound of Skaven going through a.
Nice.
What sound does space clowns make?
They're probably terrifying. Actually, they're the only people in Warhammer 40K that know the webway and how to navigate it. So you may be walking around this regular area, just a creepy forest, and then their portal, you can drop in their portal, and then they will like teleport in, which is kind of exciting.
You have another concave, or?
No,
Oops.
we didn't bring
Well.
enough. We really, trying to have a booth and all this. We were definitely
No, you
short.
guys are
Short on all the prototypes that
doing
we'd like
great.
to have.
How was your show? You played with Satine Phoenix and
So
Matt Mercer.
we did it was the most fun 2 hours I've had in my life. I had Joe Manganiello,
Yeah.
Matt Mercer, Liam O'Brien, Peter Atkinson, who of course runs all the Gen Con here. Let's see, Joe, Matt, Liam, Satine, Peter, and Stefano, our founder, Stefano, and we played a 2-hour game of ridiculous D&D. Where they tried to defeat the hag, stop her ritual here in the forest, and it was a great success. And we had a wonderful time. It's available on Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh, Timber! It's on the Gen Con. What's our official? It's Gen Con official Gen Con.
Official Gen Con over there, right?
Yeah, it was in the other studio across the way. We popped that on here. And it was a wonderful success and a really fun time. Next year we'll have to figure out how to do something even more ridiculous.
Whoa, oh my God. Guarantee you these will be a lot better, stronger.
Well, you guys are really pushing the limit with.
Okay, I'm holding this. You can put this.
Well,
in.
one of the things about Kickstarter is it lets us, we get to work. Our backers help us figure out how to make things as amazing as possible.
Yeah.
Right. So we say, hey, this is our crazy vision. Here's what we've got, and they they say, hey, what if you try this? What if you try this? Is there a way to make this better? So we get so much great feedback. We're not afraid to show a work in progress because we have a little time to refine it after it finishes, and they give us a bunch of great ideas on how to make it better. And
Yeah.
we have some really, really, really smart backers, and they help work with us to ultimately deliver like a really killer product. Which we do year after year after year.
I feel like some of the most like brilliant people are the ones that are playing tabletop and playing D&D.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because we've been playing RPGs on Twitch that I have, and I will sometimes I ask the chat room what do you do? And they're like biologists and like
heart surgeons
yeah,
and
they're like
crazy,
so smart,
brilliant lawyers.
and they're also like super nerdy and
and
love fantasy and sci-fi.
Well, there's something about the sitting down and role-playing, like RPGs requires so much creative thinking, so much collaboration, so much thinking on your feet. Like all those skills that you're using there are valuable skills in the real world. So I think it draws and helps cultivate people that are have that sharp
problem
mind.
solving.
Yeah. / free thinkers / a little on the edge of of what's normal, and I don't know. These are my people. These are our people.
Yeah.
These are the best people in the world.
This is so cool. I mean, this would be great also for like production design people designing their set. I'm thinking about.
I shoot every year. I shoot videos in these worlds, and I feel like George Lucas, right? Because I get to just make. I get to make like the thing I envision. I'm like, if I have a canyon, and I can build it. 8 hours later, that thing exists, and we fly a camera through it. There's some fog,
can
and
imagine like some Ewoks coming out of
right?
here. Right.
Or maybe some feral Ewoks.
Yeah.
This part always reminded me
cannibalistic feral Ewoks.
The moon-based entrance in Endor.
Endor.
Yeah.
It's very meta. Maybe we start on the table and then we go down.
Yeah, that's
wander in.
For some reason, the cave is higher. I don't know why.
Sure.
So, any other questions or ideas, or should we get back to selling stuff in our booth?
I'm just like quietly watching this world unfold. You're great.
I just need to keep building.
Well, we couldn't do it without the support of our backers. We have an unbelievable group of backers who every year show up and they throw a bunch of money at us, they throw a bunch of ideas at us, they throw all this enthusiasm at us. They've been coming all of Gen Con, they've been showing up and they're bringing us chocolate and homebrewed beer and various things that they've made, and just photos and excitement are coming in with wide eyes to look at the prototypes, and we just have such an unbelievable collection of backers that support us every year and let us keep doing this and trying to push the limits of creativity. And that's really, our Dwarven army is unstoppable. We have.
It just keeps going, guys.
Yeah, well, the only limit is how big your table is.
Yeah.
Right.
And even on, we can fly it in with train trays and keep going.
Well, I would love to watch Toby just kind of make art in front of me.
He's got no off button.
Like all day. This is incredible.
Just give him a pile of Legos, you just keep building.
But
that's why I love. I grew up on Legos.
Yeah, but you've like broken up that Lego thing because you've changed angles very comfortably, very quickly, in just like a few minutes. So I think it's time to wrap up so you guys can go back to your booth, meet some more of your backers, and maybe kind of convince people like this is an amazing project. You got 9 days left on your Kickstarter.
Caverns Deep. It's look at this side. It's August 14th it ends. We have a whole bunch of stretch goals we've broken through. We got a whole bunch more. We'll have all this wilderness stuff is going to go up in the next couple of days. We'll get our sets out there. Come join the fun. We have some ridiculous videos. We do a lot of live Q&As and streams and just general nonsense. And come join the Dwarven Army.
All right, take care. Don't go away. We'll be back in about 30 minutes with another interview. Bye.